I've never been there. Honestly, I've never been to, I don't, other than recruiting, I've never played in is it KFC, some arena or something there?
Yeah, we were there for the Sweet 16. It's a nice arena. It's very nice.
Kim, just talk a little bit about the team and what you surmised from the first exhibition game and what you're thinking moving forward.
I got to see a lot of the new players. I got to evaluate them with the lights on. Alexis played 2 or 3 minutes, and she was out the rest of the game. Angel didn't play. Ryan didn't play. Those are 3 returning players with experience that are going to play for us. So it allowed opportunities for others, and I got to see them, and I expect that to be the same way tomorrow. I expect to be able to evaluate some young ones and see what they can do when the lights come on.
Yeah, I didn't hear Angel not playing. Was that a coach's decision?
Yeah, she won't play tomorrow. Alexis won't play tomorrow, and Ryan.
Just because they're kind of known commodities, or what?
Because of what?
They're known commodities, or what?
A little bit of all the above, yeah. It gives me a better sense of maybe rotations. We know what Angel can do. We know what Alexis can do. And Ryan actually is a health deal. She's only been in practice 3 or 4 days the last couple weeks with concussion protocol and a fracture in her nose. She's wearing a, call it face mask. So there's no need to play her. Sure they all want to play, but I'm trying to get us ready for a regular season.
This is enough with Ryan in the mask. Is it concerning? Is it something now that you're going to have to guard?
No, it's just ironically she fractured that nose last year and wore the mask, and then it's another fracture, and it's not in the same place. That was my question, and they said, no, it's another fracture. But she should only have to wear it a couple of weeks, so maybe she's done this week and then one more, and then she can get out of it. Y'all hear my stomach growling?
Only because only because.
Oh, because I told you? All right. Well, some of y'all I wouldn't invite. I'm not supposed to like the media, right? Isn't that what coaches' mottos are? Don't trust the media. The power of the pen, right? No, go ahead, Scott. See, I entertain you, Scott. Go ahead. Made you lose your train of thought.
You've seen them play. You know the caliber of players you have. Where is this season? Do you think fall in? Last year was a great start. You're hoping for bigger and better things. I mean, you're hoping to have the kind of program that you had at Baylor, obviously, eventually. Where do you see this season being in that progression? That's where you want to get to.
Well, I don't know. Let me say this. Don't judge this season on wins and losses. Don't judge it on where we could or could not finish in the league. That's not how you build a program. Last year, we didn't do it either. We just happened to go 26-6 and finish second. You judge it based on talent. Are you recruiting better talent? Numbers, how much depth do you have? And then those wins will take care of itself, and then you'll reach that point to where you are, I think we use the word hunted and hunter. Guys, we're still the hunter, and 1 year doesn't all of a sudden make you the hunted. The transfer portal has changed a lot of things for all of us. Who we think we have today and in the future may not be who we have. So you coach in the moment. You try to plan for the future in recruiting, positions you need, things like that. But now it kind of gets disrupted sometimes at the end of the season. So coach what you have, coach them up, keep recruiting, keep staying in the portal recruiting, and see if year after year after year, if you're one of the teams that's being mentioned as one of the top programs in the country. And so I guess that's the best way I can explain it. Don't judge last year and compare this team to last year. Let's just see what this team's identity is. Let's see what our strengths and weaknesses are. I already told you talent is there. I already told you depth is there. Injuries can mess up a whole lot of things. So we knock on wood every day and hope that you stay healthy and just go play. And as coaches, just keep recruiting. Scott, I was asked that at Baylor. Is it harder to win the first championship or is it harder to maintain? I think my opinion is unequivocally it's harder to maintain. You can work hard, and man, you could get that first championship, and now we have fed that monster and everybody wants you to keep feeding that monster, and that's hard to do. And so for 21 years doing that at Baylor, I'm blessed that we were able to do that for that many years.
Kim, and I guess piggybacking off of that a little bit, with you guys getting this team ranked in the preseason, I think it was the first time in maybe 8 or 9 years or so. Is that a proper, I guess, gauge or barometer as to where you guys are with this after just 1 year?
Well, that's somebody's opinion. Media, coaches, whoever votes on those things, that's a sign of recognizing what we did last year, maybe recognizing what we're doing in recruiting. It makes you relevant. I certainly prefer to be ranked over not being ranked, but rankings don't win games, rankings don't win championships. I always loved as a coach when I started out, I loved the underdog role. I loved to be not ranked. I loved to, be told we're not supposed to win that game. But for the program and for LSU as a whole, being ranked brings recognition. And if we can do that, then we can get in recruits' doors.
Coach, are you seeing any parallels with this team? Certainly every team's different, but your youth and mixed with some veterans, are you seeing anything that reminds you of any of your past teams and you're saying, oh, I've been here before, this is going to remind me of this particular year and I might be able to do this? Or is there any I don't know, deja vu that you maybe had at practices?
There's a lot of deja vu just since I've been here. We're trying to do some of the same things the same way that we did them starting out at Baylor. I can't really, just off the top of my head, think this team reminds me of a particular year at Baylor. But yes, we have had teams at Baylor that were young and had to play. We like to say it, we have to throw them to the wolves early, and they're going to have some bad days and some tough games until they grow up. You can't rush time. It just takes time for some of them to develop. I just know regardless of what the record ends up being, regardless of where we finish, we're heading in the right direction. We are getting players and recruiting that we're excited about. We got players in the transfer portal that we're excited about. And if we can just keep doing that, I think we'll maybe one day bring a championship here. I know that's certainly why I came here. Can't guarantee championships. Can't ever recruit and guarantee that. But what I can guarantee is, one, they're going to get a degree, and two, we're going to play hard, and if we do that, good things are going to happen.
Okay, Kim, I got 2 questions. First, do you know what your starting lineup is going to be Monday, or are you still making up your mind?
No, I know what it's going to be.
And how hard has that been?
Well, it's just the first game. That may not be my starting lineup after the first game. It may be not my starting lineup, may never be solid the whole year. I think that that's what's so good about having depth. In practice every day, they're fighting for playing time. But if you're asking me today, do I know who I'm starting Monday? I do. They don't know, and you won't know. But, yeah, I pretty much know who I'm going to start. I pretty much probably know my rotation. But that doesn't mean that that's the way it's going to be the whole year.
Second question, did you have to talk to Alexis about being, the mother hen among players this year? She seems like, I talked to her a little while ago, and she seems like it's something that she really wanted and has really embraced.
I don't know if I will say Alexis wanted it. Some kids lead by just how good they are and how they play. But with captains and with that leadership role comes more than that. And you try as a coach to guide them and train those upperclassmen and let them see how you handle situations. So the natural progression is you start with your juniors and your seniors and your upperclassmen and give them shots at being the leaders and the captains. I have not announced captains yet. I don't want to overemphasize the importance of captains because there's only one person that runs this ship, and that's me. But it sure helps when you've got people in that locker room when I'm not anywhere to be found that they want to follow. And it may be multiple captains. I think she's doing great on the floor. I think she's doing great. I think that she realizes the mistakes that she's made throughout her career, and she doesn't want to do those things, and she can actually tell stories. She can tell her story. But Alexis, again, is not the only one that I'm considering, to be captain.
Looked like you got a good showing from Jasmine as far as shooting the ball. Is that something that you think would be consistent throughout the season? And if you would speak to Flage as well in her debut.
Jasmine, I forgot one player in 21 years at Baylor that I can tell you was the greatest shooter I ever coached. When she missed a three-point shot, you were like, golly. That's how much I thought of her three-point shooting. Jasmine probably is in the top 3 on just flat out shooting the ball. Shooting the ball. But this game is more than that. People aren't going to just let her spot up and shoot the ball. She has to defend. She has to be strong with the ball. She has to help, help with rebounding. But what you saw shooting-wise, that's who she is. That's her strength. So if you were going to go play a game of horse or whatever, you pick her first. All right? Flage is got the body to be a very strong 3-type player. Go in there and get you some offensive boards. But as you also saw the other night, Flage can shoot the ball. And Flage can take you off the dribble. Flage is such a perfectionist that she's going to struggle with failure. She's going to have 0 for games. She's going to have turnovers. You just do. This game is that way. So it's our job to make her understand, move to the next play, move to the next play. She beats herself up, move to the next play. And the talent is there. She can pretty much do any aspect of the game. But both of them had good nights the other night. You don't have to teach her to run, actually. You have to teach her to slow down. That child has 2 basically professions. She has what she does with the rapping, and then she has basketball, and of course class also. She gets up earlier than any kid I've ever coached. She is up at the crack of dawn. And when her day is done with school and basketball, she's not going back to sleep or just going to tutoring or just going to study hall. She's squeezing in what she's got to go do. She might have to fly here during the weekend when we have an off weekend and none of us ever know it. But she does her job. She comes back. She doesn't tell you what she's doing. She's special. She's very, very special, and she wants to be a leader. But what she's trying to find out now is, what's my place? I'm not anything but a freshman, so when do I speak up? When do I, but all of it's there. All of it's there for Flage.
We've got time for a couple more questions, guys.
Kim, what kind of promise have you seen so far out of Samaya, and just from the moment she stepped to campus till just a couple of days before the season starts? How have you liked the way she has progressed?
Well, actually, the last 3 or 4 days have been very good for Samaya. I've seen progress. I've seen her retaining things. I've seen her be more physical. Her body is not going to ever be a back-to-the-basket type of post player, but she's still got to get down in there and post deep so that she can make her moves facing the basket. I think coming from a high school program that's very successful, they had like 7 kids sign Division I scholarships, and they won a couple state championships. She's used to winning. what Samaya is going to learn now, as all her teammates from high school will. Everything here is bigger, faster, stronger. And so she will have to make adjustments to that. She had a little setback because she had a little tweaked hamstring and was out for a couple weeks. Well, at this level, that sets you back. You got to play catch up. So now she's playing catch up a little bit. The other night in the exhibition, she and Elisa, the two freshmen, they had to guard on the perimeter. And they got exposed. And obviously, we worked on that and we showed it to them on film, but that's not unexpected. When they have to, any post player has to guard out on the perimeter, it's tough.
Last question, Scott.
Haven't seen you play. I imagine you might have gotten in concussion protocol once or twice when you were a player. No, I mean, you were all over the
Scott.
floor.
You know, anything I say up here is clickbait, right? It could be the most positive thing in the world. Clickbait, clickbait. I am learning every year or every 6 months, there's a new word, right? Y'all use new words, right? Toxic. Name one. Aggressive. Entitled. I mean, everything's a new word. Concussions were not talked about much. And so now you're hearing CTE in football, right? And you see the helmets now. And, you know, everything progresses, I guess. I had no idea when I'm being told that someone's in concussion protocol, like you could see in football if a kid hits the helmet real hard, ooh, Lord, check them out for a concussion, right? But now concussions can be slapped in the eye, slapped on the side of the head, anything, I guess, in this area. Because I've never been through concussion protocol or done any of that testing, I'm thinking what? You x-ray the brain, you MRI the brain, you do all these things. That's not what puts you in concussion protocol. It's questions you are asked, right? And however they answer those questions, I guess it's a formula that they follow as physicians and trainers, and that's how you're decided if you go in concussion protocol. So your question was I ever in one? No. Did I ever think I had one? I didn't think like that. I guess I could have been hit in the head. I guess I don't know, but you just hop up and kept playing. Now, that doesn't mean I think we were behind the times or I was mistreated or I was ignored or they didn't take care of me. I always wanted the coaches to say one thing about me. I didn't care if they said, oh, man, I just wanted them to say that's the toughest girl I ever coached. Just tough. And I finally got that from Leon and Pat. Playing for them is just like one word, tough. Now, I don't know if that's my country upbringing. I don't know what it is, but I'm learning, and that's why you have physicians and that's why you have trainers. They tell me when kids can and cannot play. I don't ever cross that line. I err on the side of being very, very conservative and careful. If you limp, you're coming out. So if a trainer tells me she's good to go, coach, and I see her limp, I'm taking her out. And I'm going to say she can't be good to go if she's limping. That's the only time I would question a trainer. Things like that.
I was slipping one last little question. Next week is this early signing period, right?
The 9th,
Yeah.
November 9th.
Yeah. So are you done, you think? Are you saving a spot maybe for a transfer or another player? What do you
we
think?
have the commitments we have that all of you probably know about. We don't have any secret one that we're going to, on the 9th, y'all are going to be surprised by. Now, you're never done recruiting. When the season's over, transfers out, transfers in. You know, that's just the new free agency of basketball. And, you know, I have 15 that can be on scholarship, and we didn't use all 15 this year. So you're always recruiting. You're always open. Did you say take or tick? Win, lose, or points? See, I'm not a gambler. I don't know. But I'm good at blackjack, okay? See, if you play and you make your own decisions, you don't depend on somebody else, right? Is it raining or not? They tell me it's raining now. See, I was at that Tennessee game. First of all, give kudos to our football staff. Woo, they've only lost one SEC game, and they've only lost to a team they should have lost to, right? So they beat one or two that they probably weren't predicted to beat, right? That's a sign of progress. As I sat and watched that Tennessee game, I can't enjoy sports like a normal fan because you're constantly learning. I'm watching the sideline. I'm watching players get kind of frustrated in how are they handled on the sideline. I'm just kind of like when you coach. And I thought there were only 3 plays in that game that, as a coach, I might have done differently. But I'm not a football coach, okay? I'd have put 3 points on the board, but they playing to win. I'm playing to go, that team is more talented than me right now, and if I can get points on the board, I'm doing it. So what do I know is what I'm trying to tell you. They're there every day. They know their team. I support them and their knowledge. And analytics tell them what to do. Analytics doesn't tell me what to do. My eyeballs tell me what to do. So with that being said, we all probably would agree that Alabama's supposed to win the game, right? So I'm going to compare it to this and leave you with this thought. We all probably would agree in 2005 that LSU women's basketball was supposed to win the national championship and beat Baylor, right? That's why you play the games. See y'all.